theatre, film, TV and more. Suzy Wrong reviews it all on Joy Drive.
Good afternoon, Suzy Wrong.
Hi Warren, do you like hotels or do you prefer Airbnbs?
Hotels. I wasn't expecting. I was thinking, what's Suzy going to ask this time? Hotels. I prefer hotels. I can't be bothered with the Airbnb stuff. What about you?
Have you tried the Airbnb experience?
Yeah, I tried it years ago, and it was one that, and the host, I think, kept. There were all these rules for a start, and then the host kept popping in, and it was annoying me.
What? So the host is not living there, but kept popping in,
Yeah,
or
kept
what?
popping in. Just, I don't know why. I think maybe was worried that I was having wild parties, and which I wasn't. But it just turned me off a little bit. No, I prefer a hotel. I just find it easier. Are you an Airbnb person?
I've had good experiences with Airbnb when we traveled in groups. When we had like when we require 3 or 4 bedrooms, then we can rent out something quite glamorous and grand, because you put your money in together and your budget becomes really big.
Yeah.
So you can get something that you don't usually like. We're people in city who never live in big houses. So when we travel, and if we do travel together, having the ability to hire out a big house is nice. But I usually travel alone, and I do like a hotel. I like being, I like the service. I like being able to say hello to the doorman. I'm a very old-fashioned person in that way, and I think some people like being left alone a little bit more. And also the whole thing about hidden cameras, right?
Oh, really? Oh.
Don't you know?
Have you had
And
any?
I'm thinking, how would I know? The thing is, how you don't know? How would you know?
Just Google Suzy Wrong on YouTube and you'll see.
And what's there to stop people from installing? Obviously, it's against the rules, but you can't.
You never know.
How do you? You never know.
I never thought about
and
that.
I feel like. Yeah, I often read reports online about that, and it makes me think it's so easy these days with technology. Like a little pen could be a camera. So,
Suzy.
yeah.
We'll never be able to leave our houses. That's it. You've destroyed the holiday.
Well, a nice hotel is always a big part of the holiday for me.
I agree. I'm the same because I mainly travel by myself, so I prefer a hotel. I just find, and if anything goes wrong, you just walk downstairs or ring the desk and you get help. You don't have to. I think where was I going? I think I was going to Madrid. And it was the first time I was in Spain, and I did an Airbnb back then. And it said, ring this number when you arrive. And I rang the number, and it was all in Spanish. It was a recorded message, and I had no idea what it was saying. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, I've flown nonstop from Melbourne to London down to Madrid, and I was almost in tears. You know when you're so tired? And I just thought, no, never again. I'm doing hotels. So I haven't done it. But you do make a point. I find Airbnbs are good for if a group of us get together and say, for example, go up to the ski fields here and stay off the mountain. Then it's good because you've got a home, you're cooking together, you're sharing facilities. That's fun. But by yourself, I reckon a hotel, Suzy. No cameras.
Yeah, and I am a little bit weird, I'm not big into nature, and if you put me somewhere that's very pretty and scenic, I'm interested for maybe 5 minutes.
Oh.
But if you put me in a really nice hotel, I'm obsessed. Yeah. So I don't know where that comes from, but I've just got this thing. Maybe it's I can simply say I like architecture more than I like, the natural environment. Maybe that's part of it.
Maybe
except it costs
yourself.
a lot of money to travel. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the truth, isn't it? That's the truth of it.
Do you always book a bath when you have a hotel? Is there a bath in there? Do you get all the bubble bath and everything and squirt it in and hop in?
I do like a bath. I think because I don't have one at home, it's almost like a holiday thing, because on normal days, it just feels like a weird thing to do with, half hour of your day. And you're right. When I'm traveling, like I'm always in a bath. I use a bath every day. It's a nice treat.
I agree. Suzy, I've got to say, I had dinner with some friends on the weekend on Sunday. They were obsessed with you. They love you. How good's that? There you go.
That's good.
Yeah.
They've got very good taste.
They have. I agree with them. They've got very, very good taste. Now, speaking of good taste, today we watched a show called The Parenting that's streaming on Binge. Before we talk about it, Suzy, do you want to give us your review of what you thought of it?
Josh and Rohan are nervous about meeting each other's parents and for the parents to meet one another for the very first time. They have rented a house in the country for the get-together, hoping to have a nice time with little drama and few surprises. Unfortunately, the house they chose is terribly haunted, with fierce demons in every corner trying to get them. Streaming on Binge is The Parenting, a new movie that is both a comedy and a horror, one that tries to deliver both laughter and scares. It stars some big names, including Parker Posey and Lisa Kudrow, but The Parenting is unlikely to be something either of those stars will be very proud of. It is sadly a forgettable production that struggles to make anything funny, even with its roster of highly experienced actors. The scary bits, however, are thankfully rendered fairly well. I shrieked a few times, and as a fan of movies about hauntings, found myself delighted by the supernatural creatures wreaking havoc for reasons we discover later in the story. Although flawed, The Parenting is quite an enjoyable watch. Its silliness can feel cringy, but it held my attention. Sometimes a mindless, frivolous bit of light entertainment is just what a person needs. This is not a film about trauma. There are no big lessons that it wishes to teach, just 90 minutes of people acting stupid for a bit of cinematic delight. On our Tuesday chats, we tend to encounter stories that are very heavy, but this is one of the more unusual instances of queer people not having to deal with anything related to homophobia, which is frankly a breath of fresh air. Warren, would you rather meet the in-laws or some spooky entities in an old house?
Oh, spooky entities in an old house. Any day.
I was thinking back in the day when we dated people, it was so secretive. You would never have to think about their families.
No, never.
But now, things have changed, haven't they?
Oh.
Now, like this movie, you have to do the whole in-law situation.
Now, can I just say, I've got to tell you about an in-laws experience I had. We need to talk about the demon. I loved the demon. Normally I'm frightened of the demon. The demon was kind of, I don't know, loud, dramatic, a little bit fabulous. There was something about the demon. I was laughing my head off. Like, it wasn't... the demon was scary, but also, like, kind of camp. I don't know. There was something... Yeah. I loved the demon. The demon got me. I would have said, possess me.
It is a little bit camp. I think they intentionally didn't try to make like a really creepy movie full of tension. It's just jokes, and then there'll be moments of jump scares, which I found fun to watch. I just didn't find the comedy very funny for me.
Yeah, I must admit the comedy I didn't find terribly funny, but there was just something light about it. I think that's what it was. There was something entertaining about it. In terms of the parents, have you ever taken a partner back to meet any of your parents?
Yes.
How'd it go?
A long time ago. Well, but it was such a long time ago. It was in the 90s, so we kind of pretended that it was just a friend sort of thing. But, the friend who lived with me. But over time, they kind of got the idea, and I guess they treated him pretty well from what I observed. I don't know what his experience was. You
know what I did, Suzy? This was a long time ago. Decided that I would meet the in-laws. We weren't married, but figuratively speaking, we met them, and they said, "Why don't we go away for the weekend?" Oh my! That's it. How the sound you just made is exactly how I felt. Anyway, we went away for the weekend. The mother was quite possessive of her son and took an instant hatred towards me, like really hated me. And I was the sort of person at the time. Well, kind of, I said to myself, well, F you, I'm going to give it back to you. And so we were fighting the whole time. It was the worst weekend I've ever had in my entire life. And that relationship probably lasted about 5 years. And she would ring up and I'd go, yes. It was terrible, Suzy. Bad behaviour on my behalf, I must admit, as well. But I thought, no, who are you? You haven't even asked any questions. You don't even know me, and you've judged because you don't want you were jealous of your son being taken away from you by someone else. Oh, it was terrible, Suzy. It was horrible.
See, back in the day, terrible mother-in-laws used to be a straight people thing. But now, I think more and more of us have to deal with it, don't we? And I don't know if it's going to be any different. It's probably going to be even harder.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe it has. I don't know. I don't care. It's about, for me, the parents are there. You're not out to impress the parents. You're there because of whoever you're with. That's the most important thing. If the parents don't like you, they don't like you. If they do like you, that's good. I've been lucky because my parents have welcomed and loved everyone. All hundreds of them. Seriously, no, they have. They're like, they're
well trained after hundreds of them.
They were with open arms every single time, no judgment. I've been so lucky. I know that's not the case always, but I've been so fortunate, Suzy, that they're like, hi, come, you're welcome. What can we do? Can we feed you? Can we do whatever? Honestly, I've been really, really lucky, but I know it can be a horrible experience for some.
It's interesting, isn't it? You think that all you need to do is just be kind, and sometimes people find it so hard. Even in such situations.
I think that's why I was annoyed at this trip away, because I paid for it too. I was like, I'll pay for it. Let's take them away. That'll be a great thing. Great way to meet them. And there was this instant, just from it doesn't matter how good you were or how polite you were, this mother was going to hate whoever the partner was. And apparently, because I'm still in contact with him, she's hated everyone since. And made their life absolutely
lucky in this country we don't kind of move in together, because in some places in Asia, for example, living with in-laws is a very common thing. Or can you imagine you having to move in with her?
Suzy, I'd be having you over for dinner to help me deal with it. Maybe we could get the demon.
The demon is going to be helpful.
That's right. We'll get the circle going. You and I reckon we'll say, come and deal with the in-laws. Hey, Suzy, I got another message here. Brett from Byron Bay. Brett, I'm going to read it. It says, "Hey Warren, loving the show as always. It was so lovely of you to pass on that message from your friends who are fans of Suzy. I too love Suzy and enjoy this banter that you have. Such great listening. You've put a smile on my face this afternoon. And I'm with you, Suzy. Give me a hotel room and a bath."
Yeah, I think the hotels are, for me, such a highlight, I don't really admit it to myself, but sometimes I pick where I'm going based on the hotels. It's meant to work the other way around.
And isn't it such a surprise when you go to a hotel and it is much better than you expected? You walk in, you think, oh my goodness, I'm not interested in seeing the tourist stuff. I just want to stay in my hotel because it's so beautiful.
Yeah. And another thing, I just hate the idea of spending money going on a holiday and having to stay somewhere where it's inferior to your own home. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're going to spend money, go somewhere, you make sure it's nicer than your own home. Isn't that logic? Doesn't that logic make sense? I think that logic makes sense.
Well, the purpose is to spoil yourself, definitely. I must admit, Vietnam last year, the hotels were amazing. Absolutely mind-blowing. So comfortable. If you haven't been, I'd encourage you to go.
Oh, I have to go. I've got a sister-in-law who's Vietnamese, and she lives in Singapore, but she makes 2 or 3 trips there every year. And I keep saying I have to go with her. I think so. The small
boutique hotels are absolutely amazing. There were days I didn't want to leave. I just want to stay in here and spoil myself. You'll love it, Suzy.
And they're priced completely different from what we're used to here, right?
Totally. Worth going.
You don't have to pay $400-$500 a night for this sort of stay in Vietnam, I don't think.
I know. We'll be crossing live to Vietnam to talk to Suzy Rong, who's permanently booked a hotel soon.
Look, you've got me thinking. Yeah. I think that's a good idea.
Suzy, I loved it. What are we watching next week?
Mid-Century Modern is a new sitcom coming to Disney Plus Three best friends, gay gentlemen of a certain age, decide to spend their golden years living together in Palm Springs. Mid-century modern stars Matt Bomer, Nathan Lane, and Nathan Lee Graham. Check it out, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Suzy. And of course, today was the parenting, which you can catch on binge, and you catch Suzy Wrong here every Tuesday here on Joy Drive. Here's Kim Wilde. This was from the movie.